Good evening from Washington. I'm Larry O'Connor, and we begin with the sad news that Democrats are lying to you. Now, I know that's probably not a breaking news alert or anything. I mean, let's face it, Democrats are, well, they're politicians, and so of course they're going to lie to you. All politicians lie to you, by the way. This isn't a those darn Democrats kind of monologue, although in this case it kind of is, because this issue is exclusive to Democrats. It has to do with separating children from their parents. It has to do with the state-run schools, teachers, politicians, administrators, social workers, counselors, all knowing best how to raise your child than you do. And it's Democrats who are leading this charge. Now, I want to remind you of a law that was being proposed in the Commonwealth of Virginia by a delegate. Her name is Elizabeth Guzman. It would have redefined child abuse in Virginia to include mental abuse of children who are LGBTQ. Mental abuse. Now, remember that, because this was demonstrated to be a punishment for parents who don't affirm their children's gender identity. And we presented this to you last week, and it's become an uproar. Democrats in Virginia and in other places of the country are bowing out of debates because they don't want to answer for this. They don't want to have to be put on the spot saying, do you agree with this policy from your colleague? In fact, there's one such Democrat, a woman named Jennifer Wexton. She's a congresswoman in Virginia, just one district over from where Elizabeth Guzman proposed this. She was asked specifically whether she agrees with this policy, and well, she lied. Here's what she said.
So I'm not sure that's what that bill said, because my understanding is that the bill did not actually use the word affirm in anywhere in it.
Yeah, but in the interview, that's what she said.
Okay, I don't know what she said in the interview. I did not see it.
Yeah, see there, it's really clever. The bill doesn't say anything about affirming gender identity. And the Washington Post, by the way, of course, doing their duty for the Democratic Party, they're lying as well. Their headline is just precious. Take a look. Yeah. It's an uproar. The bill is causing an uproar. They go on in the article to say Republicans are pouncing on this, and they also repeat this statement that the bill doesn't say anything about affirming a child's gender identity. That's not in the bill. Well, so what? I mean, my guess is that every state in the union has a lot of bills against child abuse. And well, if you're a parent and you lock your child in a closet and chain them to a wall and only feed them dog food every day, well, that's child abuse. But do you think that your state law actually delineates specifically those conditions? No. It says you can't be physically abusive to your child, and we as a society, we know what that means. Well, let's go back to this bill that Elizabeth Guzman proposed, because it specifically says it outlaws physical or mental abuse to a child based on their LGBTQ identity. Well, of course, physical abuse of a child is against the law regardless of whether it's for their LGBTQ identity or for any reason. No one should be abusing children. So why single this out? Why use that language, physical or mental abuse of a child based on their LGBTQ identity? Well, it's pretty clear here, isn't it? Mental abuse will be interpreted by the state of Virginia and every other state that adopts a bill like this and puts it into law as not affirming your child's sexuality and their gender identity. That's exactly what the bureaucrats in child welfare will do. It's exactly what the administrations of every single government at the state level and probably eventually the federal level will do through their counselors, through their various caregivers. They will say, the teachers even, who are supposed to be the front line of defense on alerting the state if a child is being abused, they will say, aha, this child is not having their sexual identity affirmed at home. That is mental abuse. Time to call CPS. You don't believe me? All right, let's go back to what we discussed last week. Here is that actual delegate, Elizabeth Guzman, and she is asked point blank in this interview, what will the punishment be for a parent who does not affirm their child's gender identity? That's the question. Watch her answer.
In an interview with 7 News, Guzman discussed a bill she said she wanted to introduce in Virginia.
What could the penalties be if, the investigation concludes and it's concluded that a parent is not affirming of their LGBTQ child? What could the consequences be?
Well, we first have to have an investigation, and before we make the determination that there's going to be a CPS charge, depending on the type of abuse, and this is for all abuse, not only LGBTQ, it could be a felony, it could be a misdemeanor, but we know that a CPS charge could harm, your employment, could harm your education.
You see, now this was 7 days ago when we were living in a simpler, more innocent time, when Elizabeth Guzman actually thought she was on the right side of history by separating parents from their children if, in her mind, as a career social worker, those parents are abusing those children because they don't agree with Elizabeth Guzman on what their sexual identity should or should not be. Things have changed now, and we're told by Jennifer Wexton, the Congresswoman, let's play this again. Oh, no. You're mischaracterizing the bill. You're mischaracterizing Ms. Guzman. The word affirm isn't even in the bill. Watch, remember.
So I'm not sure that's what that bill said, because my understanding is that the bill did not actually use the word affirm in anywhere in it.
Yeah, but in the interview, that's what she said.
Okay, I don't know what she said in the interview. I did not see it.
Yeah, I don't know what she said in the interview. Well, we do. We've got it, and we'll play this first part again because it's critically important. Jennifer Wexton knows very well what she said in this interview. It's made news. It's made national news. We've helped push it here on O'Connor Tonight, and you should know about it. It should be national news. Once again, here's Elizabeth Guzman asked point blank, what will the punishment be for parents who don't affirm their LGBTQ child? Watch.
In an interview with 7 News, Guzman discussed a bill she said she wanted to introduce in Virginia.
What could the penalties be if, the investigation concludes and it's concluded that a parent is not affirming of their LGBTQ child? What could the consequences be?
Well, we first have to have an investigation.
Yeah, okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's all you need to see. You see right there, let's face it, Delegate Guzman, she's not a stupid person. She's quite smart, in fact, quite intelligent. That's what makes her so dangerous, frankly. If the reporter was mischaracterizing her bill with that question, that would have been a perfect opportunity for her to say, oh, no, oh my gosh. You got it completely wrong. This has nothing to do with parents not affirming an LGBTQ child, right? I mean, there's the reporter saying, what will the penalty be if a parent doesn't affirm an LGBTQ child? And she could have said, no, that's not even in the bill. That's nothing to do with this bill. You've got it wrong. But she didn't do that, did she? Nope. She went right on and said, well, we'll have an investigation and then we'll determine it. Because that's exactly what it is. Further evidence that that's exactly what it is? Well, there was a podcast that was presented by a pro-pride, pro-gender identity affirming website and group, and they had an activist on. By the way, this activist is a school counselor in a local school system in Northern Virginia, and she says exactly what this bill is because she talks about how she's working with Elizabeth Guzman to craft it. Watch.
7 News learned about Guzman's bill through this podcast.
I've been working with a representative. See, I don't know in a small district that I'm not a resident of, and she's a former social worker and has her clinical degree and recognizes the abuse and the long-term harm caused by not affirming your kids. And so we were working on a child protection bill that would make it illegal to not affirm.
There you go. Affirm. That's the basis of this bill. Now, Elizabeth Guzman said she's not going to present this bill. The delegate that's in charge of the minority party, the Democrats in Virginia, said it's dead on arrival. And one must ask, if there's nothing wrong with the bill, why are they pulling it? And it's because there is something wrong with the bill. It goes against you as a parent, and they're lying to you.